Okay. So this begins the Environmental Sanitation Committee meeting, Bronx Community Board 8, Wednesday, March 18th. It's, knock, 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 knock. I don't know, was that actually a knock?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, or just hit the little buzzer, the
Yeah,
key on the thing right there.
The key, the thing that looks like a key, you have to hold it though.
Oh, well, that's just like goes.
No, you know what, it's just here, it's, you know what, we were hearing it and then, also like these knock. It's just something about like a pipe. It's
Somebody's locked in a closet. That's the one.
No, it's something about that pipe or something. We were hearing it also.
Ghost aside, welcome, thank you for coming. I see people, we don't do a roll call. Do we have to do the roll call? Is that a real thing? No, they haven't.
Okay.
It's fine. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from last month?
Yes. Motion to approve.
All right, all in favor? Any opposing? No, check. Yes. Karen approves, right? Nothing to say about, I mean, it has all the things. And it's way longer than this, what we have printed here. And it includes that letter that you're talking about right here.
Right,
So this letter we will send to the budget.
right.
I
It says you have
will-
like 3 days, so we can send it 3 days. I mean, you could send it tomorrow.
They can send it tomorrow, and
They should send it.
Yeah.
It's within 72
I'll
hours.
ask
anyway.
Artie or Farah.
Yes.
Because I feel like they should be the ones to do it, but if I'm the one to do it, I can do it. I don't know
No.
Right.
how to submit it, but I assume the office has to do
The
it.
office has to submit.
Yeah.
The hearing is tomorrow at 12:30. So if you just put a note
Okay.
on it and leave it,
And then, and they know that, I think
Yeah.
it's 72 hours to.
and if they have any
send
questions,
testimony.
then they can call and maybe by that time I'll have the information.
Yeah, any questions, call Karen. Call Theo.
Yeah.
Okay, I wrote it on there. Now it will happen. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Chairperson's report is so many things. But mostly things that I'm just gonna send as links. They sent us if you care, so we have, climate articles and like, because the governor wants us to put off reducing greenhouse gases now, saying it's too expensive to meet the goals in New York because.
You think they would have
we
figured
cut
that out when they were
Right.
trying to pass the legislation that it wasn't?
Well, and then
practical?
they closed Indian Point and replaced it with more natural gas. Also, we got a list of all the, I can't get this for sanitation, but here's a list of 311, how many 311s for DEP related items in February only. Which is fun. Oh no, or maybe this is for
The Hansen
whole- I think
report.
this is for 20, I don't know.
The-
No,
the-
this is for February.
Yeah, the Hansen report. Is
That's
what
what they
we
used to call
it.
it, Hanson report,
We-
because that was
we-
a system that was on the computer.
Yes.
Pass it along, everything,
Okay.
yeah, as we go. And it's interesting, I wish we had a sanitation one, because we had more questions about sanitation citations
Shoot,
than
Jerry.
DEP things.
They don't
Print
do it
copies
for
from
sanitation, they might be able to get 311 calls for us. But
Right.
the
You know-
DEP always did it for the DEP.
Yeah.
Do you know what's super fascinating? I don't know if this is related. What was super fascinating is, so you heard about the thing that Cesar has been working about Knowles Crescent
Yes.
and getting the stores reopened or whatever. And like there are all kinds of things that people should have called 311 about like the snow on the stairs and things like that. Or like the trash and yada yada yada, like all these things that warranted 311 calls. And their office actually tracked, they called 311 to be like, how many times, like
Right.
how many calls, and they were like, none. Like people were not calling
All right.
311.
I mean, that's
like,
always a,
the stairs like not being shoveled. They got, which is like a serious issue.
There's a
got
separate number
two-
too for snow
Two
complaints.
or whatever, like two, and they were saying like, just tell everybody like, please
This is-
call.
We've had
this is
civic
a community
associations
administration issue probably because
Like, people
when they
catch
for
launched
40 years. We've been doing
when
it.
Bloomberg launched 311 or whatever.
Mhm.
I imagine
Okay, yeah.
he almost self-funded a lot of the outreach and the promotion of it, so that
Mhm.
when he left and that funding didn't have anywhere to
Mhm.
come from, it just stopped. 311 continues, but like they don't like
Oh, Bloomberg launched. I've only
I think he
listened to
started,
the
yeah.
I'm not in there.
I think
So-
that was kind of his thing, to consolidate everything
Mhm.
to 311. And, you know, there was a lot of like,
Mhm.
call 311 for everything, you know, advertising, which I feel like
Mhm.
we all should just do, I guess.
Okay.
To
Because
everybody.
right, I tell people now, with like environment and sanitation, when people talk about like whatever, I say call 311 and then call the community board office
them the
and
number,
give
right?
them
The
the
tracking number.
tracking number on it, because Farah has a meeting with them once a month.
Emily, when we,
With everybody.
in the, I think the nineties, one of our civic associations, the real deal one, the 501c3,
Mm-hmm,
I made up forms
mm-hmm,
for people because when we would have a meeting and you'd walk down the street, you'd see all the windows broken out of
Mhm.
cars. And when you asked the 50, nobody called.
mm-hmm,
And we, you know, and when I went down there, the captain said, at that time, there was no computers. He had a map with different color pins in it.
mm-hmm.
And he says, you see, you ain't got no pins. Okay,
Well-
yeah. And so I made these forms up and we used to have community meetings with 200 people and we'd hand them out and say, this is what, because there was no computer. You know, this is the number to call,
Oh, that's
this is,
fascinating.
right, these,
Mhm.
this
So,
information,
for
but it's
anything.
very hard to get people to do anything.
But last night at Public Safety, we're working, there's a new community board they put up. With a couple of people to, and part of it is to push the 311s.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making a flyer and,
Perfect.
you know, all the different, and to update our website to make it easier. But in addition, to do a lot of outreach, because the city runs on 311s.
Mhm.
So we were talking about people, all the how
Mhm.
no one's cleaning up after their dogs. And an article that talked about how the sanitation department did stakeouts in areas that were like super high and they got like 2 people for like days and days of doing it because
It's
no
very
one,
frustrating.
it's like impossible to catch people in the act if they're being watched.
Mhm.
No, it's terrible.
And so it's not happening at the times when they're sitting there enforcing, or it's not happening when they're around because maybe it's obvious they're around. I don't know. They basically just said it's really, really hard. Though they've issued,
Teachers we know.
right, and it had stats. They issued
If they're well.
9,000 summonses for dirty sidewalks to property owners for not cleaning up dog
Mhm.
waste,
Mhm.
which is the only thing they can do. And I feel like even that, I mean, 9,000 actually sounds.
Mhm.
I guess seemingly it's not enough because look around, but.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But it would be even better to get the people responsible.
Yeah.
But that's right, basically impossible, which is,
Okay.
you know, anyway. They're now gonna start, though, speaking of finding people for different things, they're now gonna resume finding you for not composting, which I guess they weren't actually technically doing until for a while, just to be nice. So now, please compost like you always were, hopefully. Anyway, and you can now get trash bins, even though it's hard, at Home Depot.
Mhm.
There's if you go to bins.nyc, which I think I put in last month's minutes, but that redirects to a sanitation department little portal that has links that send you to Home Depot that send you directly to like which cans you want. Because if you search on Home Depot's site, they do not come up. They're like secret. I don't know. But if you click the link and it gets to it, there it is, and you can order it.
That's probably
And you can
good, then they'll
like
be in
people.
stock when people need
Okay,
them.
so that link, just
And
say,
it's at bins.nyc.
is it up in the February 18th?
It's already in the February 18th.
Okay, because we've had that right here.
Yeah, because we talked about it there, so I put it there.
Right.
So that the lid is there, yeah, right there. And so we see it's under chairperson's report from last time.
Okay.
This was just a follow-up since it kept
And the
getting
uniform stormwater rule was here too.
Mhm.
Okay.
the old ones. Yeah, we already talked about it.
Right, but it's here. People picked up the minutes.
Yes, so the minutes are available. Go look on the website. Or, you know, they will be now that they're approved.
They put them up before they're approved, they never changed them either.
Yeah.
They're going on effective 25 years.
Okay.
Where that came from. Okay, so the other thing is someone wanted to talk about, or if we wanted to talk about, I think we don't, the noise code penalty schedule change hearing. The DEP is holding a public hearing to propose a rule change for I think how it responds to noise complaints.
I mean, they do.
Yeah. Or something. Right, you know, add new provisions, specify when and where noise monitoring devices can be used. Basically, it allows them to start putting out noise monitoring devices which I think is great because then it can help them like actually write tickets for things because they're like, we have it recorded that you made this much noise at this time, or whatever. Or equal, I mean, so that would be cool. But I don't know. I don't really know why. I guess it's DEP. So we talk about DEP.
Yeah.
Minutes. So there we go. We care about the rules. We want to comment. There's a Zoom hearing coming up on what let's say. Will be that. April 3rd at 11 a.m. And there's a Microsoft Teams link. And I'll just do my minutes before then. How about that?
That's powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. So spring break and stuff there for other people. For public school people. And then
When is spring break for the public school start?
Put all of this for them.
Thursday.
Be all digital.
Like the Thursday of the first day of Passover. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thursday, the 2nd,
Yeah, they're off Thursday,
Oh,
Friday, like fully, and then the
and
whole
then
week
the
after.
whole week
Yeah.
after, okay.
Oh, hello.
Sorry.
No problem.
I see.
Okay.
Even more quorum. Than we're not talking about anything else.
Extra quorum for you.
All right. There's also a bill in everywhere. That's where bills are. New York City Council. I don't know, something about shoveling snow and ice removal, bus shelters, bike share stations, public communication structures. I don't know. It just tells the sanitation department to tell property owners to shovel those things.
Yeah, so that was passed by Councilmember Sanchez. Essentially, what that does is any advertisers on these public bus shelters, city bike racks.
Wait, hold on, just to clarify, there are two.
Yeah, Justin Sanchez.
Okay, thank you.
This was a bill that was, I believe, originally introduced by Speaker Menon last session before she was speaker, and he saw it through. This was voted on and passed at the last slated at the beginning of the month. But essentially, it holds those corporations advertising on these infrastructures to be responsible for its maintenance instead of DSNY, because during the last couple storms, DSNY was overburdened just maintaining roads, streetways as is. So adding this infrastructure was just very overtaxing for them.
That makes
So
sense.
that's
No, that was
that's the
good.
goal of it.
I mean, hopefully it doesn't snow and then drop into single digits for 3 weeks straight again anytime soon.
Not this year.
So that's what normally, right? At least it gets warmer and then it's way easier to shovel
Yeah.
and things melt and nothing melted. And then it snowed more on top of it, just as it was going to melt.
The worst.
No, it cost me a lot of money. I paid somebody. $250 to get my.
The worst.
Because I wasn't gonna kill myself.
Money well spent.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
The
Definitely.
worst.
I want to thank Karen also for her impassioned statement to the board, which will be attached to, because why not? Advocating for green infrastructure, of course. And, increase in parks funding and all the other things. And I think these are all great. And thank you, Karen. I don't know, do you have anything you want to say else? Or
Yeah, I'm
maybe
gonna
you said-
send out a note. I'm gonna send out a note and maybe I don't know if you're on my list. If people want to send in testimony, they could send it in. If they want to write to the council people, they could do that. We're asking them to put $100 million in that. I know we're not in the Parks Department, but $100 million into parks this year because they have been for 25 years not funding it for 1%. And so anyhow, I'll send it to you later. You can forward.
Does
it.
100 million bring that up to 1%? Is that the idea, or it's just a round number that gets you near it?
No, it doesn't. It makes up for the cut for this year plus the cut that they gave last year. And so there's 3 points. One is the $100 million, which they were probably only going to get like 43 million. The other one is to come up with a plan so we could see it, that they could get to the 1% before 3 years is up. And the other one is to, put together a comprehensive plan about what they're doing in parks. And basically, the reason why it's of interest to us is just what I testified about. The fact is that if they would spend more money on maintenance, including taking care of our forests and our natural areas and trees, and even just watering them, they would have to hire people to do that. And that would be better for the air that we breathe and the problem that the governor knows that they can't do the greenhouse gas. Because the reason you can't take care of the greenhouse gas is because they're not doing anything to capture the carbon. And so I started this in last September, and now everybody seems to understand what we're talking about. And so we spoke to the DEC commissioner, we spoke to the DEP, of course, understands this, and so does the Parks Department, so.
Right, of course. I know, I mean, I almost wish, like in our discussions in the land use committee, they're talking about, you know, complaints about a lot of development lately in like Kingsbridge. Or, you know, over by Van Cortlandt Village, rather. And I feel like in all of these, it's because of course it's not SNAD. Like I wish there was sort of citywide SNAD to the degree that you have to, or in any way discourage property owners from cutting down trees.
Right.
And like figure out like the way you can build by cutting down the fewest trees rather than like, oh, it's as of right, I can just cut down every single tree because it's outside SNAD. So in the rest of the city and everywhere, and
Defoliation.
Yeah.
you could pave the entire lot. You know, where you're building, you know, all sidewalk, nothing. You know, maybe there's requirements for a couple tree boxes in front, but like that's it. But like the backyard, if there used to be like just a house with trees around it, you're fine to like they, I guess, did in Big Portland Village, level the entire mountain there and cut down all the trees to build something. And I feel like there should be like any control on that, which I guess there just isn't. And it's weird that there isn't other than for street trees.
Well, actually, they are required, if they remove all the pervious surfaces, they are required to deal with the water that
Runoff.
falls on
Well,
their
right, but
water
but
runoff.
that does nothing for shade and
No, no, no,
carbon
no.
capture.
But they do have some accountability for it.
Trees are better than that.
You know,
Yeah.
much better.
Right, right. And also
trees-
it causes all that
Okay,
money
wow.
that we have to pay for the flooding. I mean, it just
Yeah.
increases the flood risk. It's
Right. Well, and it's increasing, right? It's increasing their cost buildings, as you say. They need retention tanks. They need to collect on the roof and like make up for that. Which, sure. So they're even if they're net zero on flooding for where they're doing it, water's gonna flow off of there, and
Of course.
now those trees aren't doing or housing the animals or shading.
But there are actuarial calculations where, you know, they
Right. I'm
decide.
saying trees. We should protect trees.
The dollars tell them which way they're gonna go.
And that's my conclusion on that one.
They say,
I
well,
wish-
this
it's
will
like,
be
we'll
this
care about
much, if it
trees.
defines, it'll be
That-
this much, okay?
You know,
And
whether
those numbers.
they're
work.
building, you know, different housing somewhere. Like I wish they could do it on like the same footprint and be
Right.
somewhat restrained to that a little bit.
Balance the needs of the environment.
Well,
and
but like
the
so
needs
build
of the
up,
people.
but like without building
Oh,
out, you know?
yeah.
Like if like on things where there's an existing smaller structure that is, you know,
Right.
Yeah, but
totally allowable.
You don't want a
There's no-
15-foot pencil building next to a one-family house. If it-
Well, but I'd rather that
you know,
than one that fills the whole lot and then cuts down all the trees.
You wouldn't feel like
It's a
it's
trade-off.
shade.
Like,
It's
I
a
don't- you know.
trade-off for the light,
Yeah.
and you know, and air.
In open
It's
space.
all about the zoning, unfortunately, and a
Well,
lot
and so
of
that's the issue.
neighborhoods are 1 and 2 family homes. But
In R6A.
potentially, that's what they are, but they're zoned R6, and that makes it very attractive to buy
Do
them up
anything.
and put up taller structures and.
Yeah.
Right, you look over there, there's.
But at the same
you know,
time-
it's R6.
More housing,
Or
so then
6
more
day.
people can live in that spot. So that's like also always nice. It's just like, can they do it in a way that isn't like fully destructive?
right.
Okay,
And nobody cares.
There's lots of,
But there's no, that's it. It's the zoning.
yeah, there's so many needs to balance, like the needs of the environment and the needs of the people and, yeah. A lot of things to think of.
But it'd be nice, right? But it's nice that SNAD is like you have to preserve a certain percent of it. It sort of doesn't even like, you know, it
but
just
it doesn't
balances it in a
exist
different way.
outside of SNAD,
No,
and there's
it
only 2
feels-
SNAD districts, one
I
in
know.
Staten
It's
Island.
crazy.
So and then there have been many land use
And
items that have passed in the past year or two.
for several
that-
decades, there were
That
down
have-
zonings, and the past couple of mayors wanna up
Up on the
zone.
other way.
Yeah,
Well, that's it.
yeah.
The only
So-
solution here, if they don't want that to happen, would be to down zone. And I don't know.
They won't
We
do it.
had
There's no
one
public
public
never
notice.
97A.
down zone.
Were you on the board during the 197A?
No.
No, I was on the board during the 197A. We did not succeed in downzoning enough neighborhoods. Many
They
were,
tried really hard.
but city planning said no to many of them, including in Kingsbridge Heights and Van Cortlandt Village, and it was very frustrating.
So they
We
already
saw this.
literally they asked for exactly that.
We
Yeah.
asked to downsize.
Yes, they asked,
and
we
did
asked for,
some.
and what they did was they gave it half. Like they put, Giles Place was allowed to be in it, but not the whole street. Cause there was a building, so
no, it
wherever
was
the
the
building was,
same.
they changed it. And then,
But
it skipped the area that is now the Target. And it went into, amalgamated on the other side of, Van Cortlandt Park South Street, the street that goes
Right.
in. And we asked for the whole area to be rezoned and they just took a pen and said no. We were in
So
the middle
anyway,
of, the filtration
we'll
plant
move on.
fight,
Yes, you said.
so we had no more energy left, we couldn't do everything.
So now we'll get to our guests here. Is we have questions about ACE and litter collection and equally just what your office already does
Yeah.
and how we can either expand on that or, steer it.
Is somebody locked in the wall somewhere?
That's what I think.
Edgar Allan postage, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because people feel there are certain areas that need more attention than, and then if it's working in other areas, like maybe that's why those areas are nicer.
Alright,
And we didn't know that necessarily.
So I'll start with just a brief overview of what ACE is. It's the Association of Community Employment Programs. And what they do is work with typically disenfranchised New Yorkers, whether it's through homelessness, incarceration, addiction, and they provide them pathways back to just stability and economic mobility. A lot of it is through educational programs, your training, but they also provide them with jobs, and a lot of that is in the form of sanitation. And the way they interact with our district is they have contracts with different council offices, including Eric Dinwitz's office. And there's a certain amount of funding, and that funding dictates what they're able to do in the district. So I sent the questions over that Laura had sent to me over to our representative at ACE. So I'm just gonna read out the questions and his responses, and then also just a little bit
Mhm.
build out of what we can do based off that.
I apologize, you're in Councilman Dennis.
Yes, I'm a constituent advocate in Councilmember Dinowitz's office, yes.
He grew up, he's a sixth generation Bronxite.
Yes,
Caleb is.
Oh, so
Yes.
you grew up in
yeah,
Van Cortlandt House in Van Cortlandt?
I'm from South, but my family kind of just moved up Grand Concourse. Yeah.
Wow.
So the first question was this actually wasn't a question, our representative wanted me to just give a brief overview. And so verbatim, it should be noted that in all cases of sanitation requests and issues, all community board or constituent requests, complaints should be directed to the council office due to a variety of issues relating to conflicts of interest and uncomfortable exchanges with members of the community. We prefer not to communicate with anyone but members of the council offices we work for. So that being said, I'll just essentially be the point person. My jurisdiction as a constituent advocate is Riverdale from 232nd Street North, and my colleague Moises handles Fight and Dival and Kingsbridge, and then our colleague Emma rounds out the rest of Community Board 8. And so to that point, I'm glad to hear that you guys
Who was the other two people you just said?
Moises Lopez, and then Emma Burke. And so Moises has Spiting Dival, Kingsbridge, and Emma has the other side of Van Cortlandt by like Van Cortlandt Village and Amalgamated. So to that point, if you need to contact our office
I don't know if
regarding
that works anymore. Press the key. On that keypad here,
Someone.
thing of select.
Oh, it worked. I heard.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Didn't know that was
Thank
still
God.
hooked up.
Should be back here, but yeah, it doesn't work.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So to that point,
There's a
if
sign-in sheet over there. Did you sign in, Caleb?
I did not,
So there's a
can-
community sign.
Yeah, let him finish.
I'll sign in on
Just-
I'll sign in
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
Thank you though. Okay, so if you
Sorry.
do have any sanitation requests, I'm glad to hear that you guys are very aware of the 311 system. All we ask is that you make a 311 complaint, whether it's online or over the phone. Personally, I think the website is a lot more helpful. Get that service request number, send it my way, and I'll be able to follow up with the relevant agency, depending on where it is. That could be DSNY or DOT. But it sounds like you guys are very, very aware of 311, so that's great. And one thing we can do to expand ACE's efforts in our community is by increasing funding. And so for that, we have a form. I can send the link after, but it's essentially our budget allocation request form, and we ask constituents to fill it out, and that kind of gives us a better idea of where we can try to direct funding for the next fiscal budget. And I can send that after, but it's ericdinowitz.nysc/budget feedback.
Is this the discretionary funding that in the past Eric has talked about for purposes of sort of, where should my discretionary funding go? Or is this, because we also have this whole, budget recommendation
Yeah.
process in the community board, you're not talking about.
It's very similar, yes, but from our office.
But that's the
It's a
discretionary
different
fund.
set of
That's what
budgeting.
that is.
It's different money.
It's Eric's discretionary. fund.
This is to
Yeah.
agencies, our
Yeah.
recommendations. to
Yes.
agencies.
Because we also asked for exactly this, but from the sanitation department. We
Sure.
asked for them to fund
Right.
themselves cleaning, and they hopefully will.
Mhm.
And then for where the gaps, hopefully, thankfully, we can pick some of that up.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And their budget requests are probably answered in a positive way, not ours,
Frequent.
some of ours are positive,
Yeah.
but they were just like, we cannot accommodate it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
So it's like,
The
well,
budget request.
yeah.
Here.
Like, yes, we agree, but we don't have any money for that.
Yeah.
So we'll keep asking for it because hopefully
Mhm,
that's how you get money for it eventually.
mhm.
And then there is a question, what services is ACE currently providing community board aid? And the response was ACE workers provide supplemental sweeping services along White Plains Road, full-time during the week, specifically along 242nd to 232nd Streets. This route was decided upon by the council office, and changes to the regular sweeping routes are decided again by the council office. Apologies, this is my second week, so I have no insight into what those conversations were, but I'm more than happy to follow up with any questions about that.
And so what was that between which streets?
But 242nd to 232nd on White Plains Road.
Well, White Plains Road is not in this district.
This was just I think he
Okay,
was just
right,
responsive for the entire council district, so I just wanted to share
Yeah, right.
the information. But then specifically in Riverdale, they have sweeps along Riverdale Avenue from 258th to 261st monthly. Other services such as snow, graffiti, and additional emergency messes elsewhere you can reach out to the council office and we can relay that message to ACE. And if they are available, they'll send out a team, and they do so rather quickly. Recently, we had graffiti on a USPS screen drop-off box on 239th, and we were able to reach out to ACE, and they were able to get to it that day.
So they did that monthly?
Those streets sweeps monthly, yes. And then again, like emergency, like graffiti, that where cases where DSNY might be a little lengthier, they can be quicker, but it's not a guarantee they'll be able to do it. Are additional litter cleanups or expanded trash bin routes feasible within the district? The response was
A
at the
little
moment.
slower.
Sorry. Are additional litter cleanups or expanded trash bin routes feasible within the district? And the response was, at the moment, ACE's sweeping schedule and services are based on allocations awarded to the organization, and any additional service hours would be dependent on additional funding. Then the next question was, does ACE provide graffiti removal services? And if so, what methods are used? For example, power washing, chemical removal, or painting over graffiti? And the response was, the main method of ACE's graffiti removal services are done by painting. Chemical removal is not feasible due to the dangers of chemicals involved, and power washing requires agreements with property owners, which can just prove to be lengthy rather. And also can result in structural damage that's done by the power washer. And then even painting situations on private property require building owners okay. For example, there was graffiti on the back end of the Cardinal O'Connor residence on Palisade Avenue, and that was dealt with DSNY, but we had to get a waiver to the property owner, and the property owner just not responding led to a longer response time.
Hmm.
Then what types of additional projects or services could realistically be implemented in the district. And again, he kind of touched on this earlier, but any changes to their operations would have to be done by the council office through providing additional funding. And so just an important note, a lot of requests we're getting, whether it's park maintenance, graffiti, potholes, agencies are becoming a bit slower to respond as a result of the mayor trying to balance the city budget. And at the moment, funding is just tight everywhere. So not to say that anything is impossible, but right now for a lot of the larger asks, it's a bit of an uphill battle. Not to say that things are impossible and that we can't work on it, but it just might be a little bit longer than in previous years. And that was the conclusion of questions. And again, any questions with ACE, you're more than welcome to send them to me, and I'm more than happy to liaise on that.
Sounds like ACE is kind of a fee for service plan.
Well-
They don't, it's not like they're out there saying, call us, we're.
Oh, yeah, no, this is very similar to the way it was under FedCap
Okay.
years ago.
Mhm.
And I was
Did-
thinking of Dove Fund as well.
But
Yeah,
we
same
didn't-
kind of thing.
Yeah, but we didn't deal with FedCap directly. We did it through the counsel's
Council
office, making the requests. In other words,
But-
we did that then,
Mhm.
and but they also did come to a meeting, and they told us firsthand what they did.
Mhm.
I mean, so they can paint over graffiti, they can pick up litter
Mhm.
things. In the past, there was a particularly bad Step Street, there was a particularly bad Green Street that had been so neglected. Like there were certain sites that we recommended, and FedCap did them, not on a regular basis, but on an initial basis, which made a big difference.
Mm.
On a regular basis, there was some sweeping on Broadway, and this goes back years ago, when I chaired.
Well, and that's a
the committee.
particular area that
Even
the whole
now,
board now is very concerned about, is like the whole stretch of Broadway under the tracks
Yeah.
is very, very neglected sanitation wise. And it's like, right, like if it got even a monthly sweep,
that
like
would be a
up
good
Hermit Ave,
priority for
that
this
would be like a
committee.
huge improvement, because that would be a lot less. I'm sure it would be better.
Mhm.
It doesn't,
And I know there's the Kingsbridge Business Improvement District,
but
and
that's
they
very limited.
yes, but we received a question, similar complaints about just litter under the train on Broadway. And
Mhm.
the Kingsbridge bid said that they do weekly sweeps along Broadway from 231st to about 242nd. Clearly, it does not seem like it's doing enough, but
Mhm.
those are definitely concerns that I
Well,
can.
also,
They also
particular
stopped
hot-
at 231st.
Yeah,
And
It's
you know what
the
happens to the
area
trash
between the
and
bridge.
anywhere else? It also will blow
yeah.
both ways.
Yeah.
When you say Steve, when you say fee for service, and when you talk about like more funding, I'm like trying to come up with the question. Are we like allotted as a district so many hours from ACE? Or like ACE is just like has so many work hours across the borough or across the city, and like if they get to us, they get to us. Does that make
He
sense?
said they have a contract.
So, yeah.
They have a count. Oh, so
Yeah,
oh,
so that's
we-
the regular
wait, so
services
we
they'll
can
provide.
pay for. So we have like. Sorry, I'm like
So if we
formulating the
ask-
thoughts
if
in
we
my
ask
head.
your
as I go.
office for extra funding to like go around,
Yeah.
like the reservoir,
Mhm.
more ever once
Yeah.
monthly,
Mhm.
that
You
could
drive a hard
potentially-
bargain.
right,
Yeah.
that could potentially
Yeah.
like go into, like if they had enough discretionary funding to expand that, they could
Yeah.
add
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got it.
Or
now.
if there was something specific like stairs that are like hard, need like a one-time cleanup or need graffiti removal, we equally should 311 pass that to you, because potentially you could sick ACE on it
Mhm.
in there, on the side for
Yeah.
for like one time.
Yeah, for those
Okay.
one-offs, that's much more dependent on, do they essentially have a team that's not
Mhm.
actively working on contract work? And if they have a team that's
Mhm.
available to get to it, they'll get to it. But it's
Okay.
more so like emergency one-offs.
So that's still really good. So
Yeah,
people
1000%.
should, so everybody should 311 and then talk
Yes.
to Sinowitz' office, because if they help, great.
I can also find a contact, but you mentioned the reservoir, and I know there's a
Mhm.
group called the Friends of Jerome Park where they're very active and just volunteer. It's like a local volunteer group. Just
right,
picking up
I
litter.
spoke to Deb
Yeah.
Travis, she's the
Okay.
chair of it. She's also the chair of the Parks Committee.
Mhm.
At our last board meeting, I said, that you were coming, and I was always thinking of Jerome Park Reservoir because there's so many complaints.
Yeah,
And she was very much on board, and I said, could you get us specific?
Right, because we've
things
always
about- you were on the
constantly,
conversation.
I mean, that's always one of our budget requests, and it will be again next year, which is asking for more funding
Mhm.
for cleanup around, specifically around the reservoir.
What appeals about ACE is that part of the hangup all the times is Jerome Park Reservoir, this is run by Parks, this is run by DEP,
Agreed,
this
yeah.
is run by and when we
Well, our
call
request is for
ACE,
sanitation,
yeah,
because
but
they're responsible for all city property cleaning.
right, no, but
No.
like you just go in and you just did it. It was very uncomplicated as opposed to we would get these responses as who's responsible for it, and it's not sanitation or it's this or it's that. And same thing with step streets.
The next 3 months.
DEP, I mean,
Our
DOT only does this, the wings of it, but the actual steps is sanitation. One of the benefits of when we called in ACE is that they didn't care if it was DOT or
They see trash, they pick it up.
sanitation or whatever, they painted over graffiti and they really did a great job. I think it was the one at 238th actually, that leads to Broadway was one of them. So, I mean, we found at that point, it was FedCap, it was a different group, but it was a similar kind of situation. So I don't know if tonight we wanna give them any specifics to work
I mean,
on
I think
or
the specifics
discuss
are
it.
people should pass through in ones when they find specific things.
yeah.
Oh,
Unless you have
that.
like a real specific.
I got it.
thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that there is a,
No, but
I wanted to ask Caleb a question. You forward the 311, the board will forward the 311. But when I've done 311 complaints,
Mhm.
very often, what I'm talking about doesn't fit any of the boxes.
Yeah,
So then you put it on that, and then 24 hours later, you're told it's
Yeah.
been closed, and you go outside, and it's exactly the same. Okay, so you getting the 311 complaint that is filtered so that it doesn't give you the real information,
and that's the.
you're gonna
The other
look
thing
bad.
is, there's no address
So that's
for a
the,
lot of these
Maybe you
things.
can contact the original.
There's no address.
yeah, so that's the beauty of having either the constituent or the community board, if you guys are in contact with the constituent, sending it to me. Because then I can always reach out and get that additional context, and when I follow up with an agency, I can provide that context.
Can us as a committee give you a site without, I mean, just directly tell you where we would like ACE to do a special cleanup?
You can definitely like provide recommendations.
Because there's no addresses
Not, okay.
on the Jerome Park Reservoir stuff.
Yeah.
There's no, in
My
other
high
words,
school
when
was
you.
on it, so I'm very familiar with all the.
So if
Well,
people are
one,
targeting
it's
like a
useless.
specific thing, they'll
Yeah.
just be like, they can't find it, or like that.
Right,
address
right,
doesn't
right. It's a
exist.
frustration.
we wanna go beyond what we already, I mean, we already do. And everything that's been said already happens. Constituents, meaning people who live in CB8 district, they can already make 311 calls or go online. If they know their stuff, they're also reporting it to the board office, so the board staff can sort of follow up. Well, that's great. And here we know that the board can also go around, not an agency, but also having documented a 311, go to your office to the
Yeah.
appropriate coordinator.
Mhm.
That's great, but I think if we want to kind of, exert more influence or prioritization, we can make our own list as a committee. We can either divvy it up and have each of us try to make a 311 and at least give you,
Mhm.
fake it and give you a number. But basically get you a list of
That's actually a good
priorities.
idea.
Maybe there are 4, maybe there are 5 hotspots in the district that we really would like to be high up on the list
Mhm.
next to get to for something like ACE. Like the area of Broadway between the bridge and wherever the bid doesn't clean.
Right, up to 231st, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, that kind of thing, or particular
First
Green
Street.
Street.
I'm not
Step
sure
Street,
that
or-
area we're talking about is Councilman Cohn's district, by the way.
That's not Cone.
I mean,
See, that's
wait,
right.
wait,
No,
we
you're right.
started under Cohn. I started this
So no worries.
with Cohn, that's why.
But it's actually a
You
good
started
point.
with June High.
You're right,
You were
it is
in
right.
there.
You should get in touch with Cone and see what he can do.
It's
No, but I mean.
Anyway,
we have
that's an
three
idea.
council
it
people.
is
Sure.
technically Carmen de la Rosa's.
That's right, so
That's correct.
Eric is not gonna be able to.
Is the problem.
Eric is
Well,
not going to.
Not the
that
problem, it is
Yeah.
just a different problem.
Well,
No,
we
but
just have to contact her office and see
We
if she
did
has
already,
an allegation.
no, we did, and we were told that if the district.
Carmen, not James.
After we contacted about ACE.
Yeah.
Farah Farah called, was I said, what about the other two
Site.
council people? Do they have ACE or some other
Yeah.
program?
Mhm,
One of them said
mhm.
they do.
Okay.
And the other, I can't remember, said, if there's something going on or a specific area or something, I would like to, I will do something. So I think what's best for us right now is definitely start with, Councilman Dinowitz's district. We have you here and you're representing that council person. But we can continue to
And
work on
represents
the
the
other,
largest share.
the large share of community board aid. But I mean, the point that you
Yeah.
want from near Target to,
Exactly,
Yeah, in
all
other
that,
words-
which is right by the water, so I feel like it all goes into the
Right.
river too,
what you have to do is,
if not cleaned up.
we could look at it again, that's the other
Mhm.
thing. We should look at these areas again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perennial, but maybe it's been cleaned up or something. I don't wanna send you out on something unless we, check it out. So maybe we could,
It's in waves.
Was there a multiple committee walkthrough
Well,
in the
right.
last 2 months?
Mhm. And most people blamed it on the construction and all the stuff, which is still the case, so it's
Right,
like
but
that's,
it's gonna
yeah.
go on, I think the bridge part, that ends in 2057. So that's,
and that's not in,
I'm kidding, for the recording, that was.
Yeah, that's, I think it's because it was supposed to be done by 2024 or something, but it's been like 10 years already.
I will say there is a lot of merit to the
Even
community
on
board
term
coming
limits like
together,
that.
and I don't know whether it's through a resolution, a statement, but identifying these specific areas you want targeted, because when I've been contacting DOT on similar issues, like someone at the end of North Riverdale wants no parking zones in front of one of the synagogues, and the feedback we're getting from agencies is that if you can get this through the community board and show demonstrated interest from the community,
thank
it
God.
makes the agencies take it more seriously than just a
Thank
random
God.
complaint. So I would definitely.
That is great to
Do
hear.
not
Yeah.
take away any parking in front of any synagogue or any place. All right, so do we know our next step?
We don't need parking in my.
Right, so we should talk about specific areas. I mean, I think these are,
And then get
these
back
are, these
to
are
you.
also requests for sanitation at the same time.
Yeah,
And then, when they're not fulfilled, when they continue to not be fulfilled.
Right, I mean, and the 311 is logically kind of gets routed to.
It'll go to
Sanitation.
sanitation,
Right.
just how they, or whether they respond to it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
But they do, they think like there's a list
Yeah.
of graffiti that they remove. I don't know how long the list is, and I'm sure if you threw in one it the right way, it gets added to that list. You've opened a ticket. They don't close it without doing something. They may close it after going out, viewing it, and saying, we've observed the condition, or we've passed this to the right department, and then they close your ticket. And then you're sort of stuck. Because it's like now we've claimed we told, sanitation, but now it's like you have to just be like, okay, I hope they do it.
I will say our contact at DSNY is awesome. He's very, very passionate about his job.
I mean, I
He's
think
super
they
awesome.
are, they do, and I've seen it, and I reported, trash along, like a step street, and it disappeared.
Yeah.
And they were like, we corrected the condition.
That's-
Was the way they
that's
closed the
great.
ticket. It
well,
was like
so
perfect.
I once got excellent response on the parts of the Hudson which you have access to through the train station. Those areas, getting sort of like neglected, and there's a lot of trash, and I think it was Councilman Capel possibly who dealt with that.
Well, you're showing your age too.
Right. And then Mayor Lindsay was quite responsive.
I got along very well with AP.
Yeah.
Is that the 80s?
I go back to Lindsay.
You lost me there.
Yeah,
All right, so,
I can
I'm
try.
old.
all right.
Okay, so thank
we're
you.
good?
And I think that makes sense, exactly. So then when people have very specific complaints, I know certain people have very specific locations where they've attempted 311s and it's failed.
Mhm.
They should talk to your office. Or
Yeah.
Farah should talk to your office.
Yeah. Or the
To identify
constituents can reach out
yeah.
directly. They're
Okay.
more than welcome to reach out to me directly.
That's true,
And
they
I'll-
are your,
Yeah, I'll share I'm the constituent advocate for the area,
Yeah.
so it'll come to me either way. So more than happy to share my email. I know you already have my email. We're on the chain together, but
okay,
more than
yeah,
happy
yeah.
to share that.
I'll share it in the minutes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, of
And
course.
presumably, if we communicate with you, you can give it to the other two coordinators who have
Yeah.
different
Yes.
geographic
1000%.
responsibilities.
Thank you, perfect, because I didn't fully understand exactly where the lines are on those necessarily.
There's address. Oh, nothing.
So, cool, thank
That's
you.
very good.
I don't have any other questions for you. Do you, anyone else?
Nope,
And
other
then,
than thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it sounds like you have
Welcome.
at least 2 points of contact for this kind of issue.
Yes.
And that's one is DSNY and the other is ACE.
Yeah.
At least those
Mhm.
two.
And I know locally our the Riverdale Main Street Alliance is doing a cleanup event the end of the month, I believe the
Mhm.
28th. So
Right.
I know there've been talks from just one-off constituents. Oh, yeah, exactly.
there we go.
Of also trying to get an effort going in South Riverdale, because I know RMSA is a little more North Riverdale focused. So if there is momentum coming out of that, I'll be sure to loop in this committee, but just something that's could be on the horizon.
I guess there isn't any kind of a bid or.
No, there's-
the bid in the
Yeah.
lower shopping.
No,
There's
They're meeting it.
KRBC, but they're more so business development
Mhm.
than cleanup efforts.
Right,
Yeah.
So go to Riverdale and 258th on Saturday, March 28th at 10 a.m.
Yep.
and help them clean up if you
Mhm.
want to clean up. There you go. It's even on the camera. Perfect.
They should have done it after.
What day is, what day is that? Because I live at.
That is a Saturday. That's Saturday, March 28th.
What time is that?
10 a.m.
April
Two
1st.
weeks.
Here, pass it.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
he can have the flyer.
It's very close.
Yeah.
I've like started mapping out days. I just was like, okay, this day this, this day this, this day this. I have to make a menu.
Because I live close.
But that's not
Because
bad.
I live, because I live, I
No,
live
no,
close
Laura
by.
said
the one
to me-
before,
Laura's
yeah.
like, it's very close.
It is, you know,
I'm like,
I'm in the same head,
in
yes.
countdown, I'm like mapping out.
Yeah, yeah.
days.
I ordered my tent.
You ordered
We have
one,
so many people, we have a
We
tent
have a tent on the deck.
it's beautiful.
with lights and heat and the whole bit, that's how many
Yeah.
people we have.
Oh, that's smart.
So it's,
Well, that's it, they don't fit, otherwise, you know, you have people in another room, you know, it's like. They say, oh, well, you can have loudspeaker, I'm like, it's
My
ridiculous.
grandmother's coming back.
No, this is a
Very
good point.
exciting.
I need a folding table. We need a
Yeah.
folding table. That's what we decided. We're adding, you know, or
we
one
have
of these.
plenty of them.
Yeah, my 5-year-old and I picked up some decorations. Yeah.
So
Oh,
you're ahead of us. You're ahead of the game. You're ready. You're ready.
Passover,
Apparently, we're all hosting this year.
we're all hosting, we all drew the short straw.
Okay. So thank you, Caleb. Just welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Me?
Yeah. Or hi, welcome. Just-
Yes, hello. Hello. Today is my second, this is my second time coming here, because I was here Monday. And I live like close by. And I'm glad to see all y'all new faces.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay,
Okay, so next, unfinished business. Summonses stuff, we have nothing to talk about because they didn't even come to the last
Right,
district cabinet meeting, or any of our last meetings. And we haven't gotten like a list of 3-in-1s from sanitation to even kind of start to look at stuff, so we'll just keep thinking about it. And if people have issues about that, you know, bring them up to the office, please. Basically, we had one person, but I don't know, you know, if she's resolved her complaints or not yet. But if not, I'm sure we'll hear from her. Okay, so then we're talking about budget stuff. Karen.
Oh, yes, what I'd like to add is, I don't want to add anything on about the budget. Oh, you want me to tell you to send the letter to the, we did that, right?
Yes, we did
Yeah.
that. We did
Okay.
that. Was there something else? I thought there might have been something else you wanted.
Yeah, I
you
have
hinted
two,
it
I
was-
just have new business stuff.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So we did that already. We're gonna send them for the budget. Yes. Talked about that. Somewhere.
We did the noise
Right.
complaint.
We haven't
yeah.
actually too much looked at the like responses that we got from the agencies. Both Laura and I thought about printing it out, but did not succeed.
well, I printed it, but I forgot to bring it.
Oh, you.
And I read it and I was just kind of discouraging. I
Yeah,
just
it's
don't remember
discouraging. It's
exactly.
mostly
I
like
don't
we
remember.
support it, but we don't have the money right now.
Yeah.
So they're not no's, and they're not that we shouldn't be asking for these things. They're just not going to happen right now, which means hopefully in the future, one day.
So we have
It's more
to
of a
decide, do
priority.
we ask the same thing over and over again?
I think we can reword a little or
Yeah.
target some things if we do, but
Definition of
other I would
insanity.
leave right exactly. But I wouldn't like
What's
stop asking for.
Definition of
I
insanity.
should the same thing over.
Fitting
over
the
Einstein
state-
said that.
Well, but the more times
It's
you
a
do it, or they're like, yes,
Yes. Saying, yeah, that we don't, it's just that it's discouraging, let's be aware,
Yeah.
like you said, change.
But then they're aware of it, it's on their radar as
Yeah.
a thing that keeps
Yeah.
getting asked for.
Listen, that's what we need, that's
Yeah.
what we need.
It's right, it's still what we need, we don't not need it anymore because
Right.
they couldn't do it this year.
So can we,
So
be
that's
prepared
it,
to
yeah.
put it in order and vote on it next
Really
month?
want it.
Right, exactly, that's what I think.
At the April meeting?
Yeah, we'll finalize it.
We'll
and,
finalize
yeah,
it,
We'll print it out. we'll do it,
everybody
yeah.
look at it in advance.
Yeah, we'll do
Okay.
that for April,
Okay.
because
Like
we don't have it now.
Jordans I want. I keep looking. I must really want them.
Right, okay, yes, so under new business. Air permit application for the wastewater treatment plant. And we sent that letter.
We sent that within the
Mhm.
We
comment
approved
period
it,
of
that
time.
that letter went out.
Okay.
Everyone, that letter will be just attached to these minutes, basically. In case it wasn't on the other one, I don't think, was it?
No, just the,
Okay. No, it's for this one, because it happened in between, it happened after,
Right,
is why. We did send that
we
comment,
responded quickly.
and, great.
Well, we
fantastic.
responded in time, so sometimes
Yeah.
things are timely and we can't, wait.
Right, so exactly, so it went on time, supportive of it, and hopeful that it will mitigate fumes even more,
Mhm.
which I believe is the entire goal, or a main part of the goal here anyway.
Thank you for doing it.
And
Makes
so,
pretty-
everyone up in Skyview should thank us, or we hope
Right.
we'll thank them when they do it. I don't know how long it all is gonna take anyway.
Right. Yeah, there's a lack of
But-
information, I agree. But they do have
Oh.
a complaint number.
Yes, we want it. I drafted the letter, and the most important thing to me out of the whole book that was there was that they have a complaint number that's 24/7 to call, and we don't have it. I mean, Farrah should have it and get it, and we should follow up on that.
So we'll send a note. Yeah, how about that? I mean, I could look it up, but we'll send a note in the morning. How's that, Dan?
Yeah, exactly, and I'm gonna ask Farrah that number, or figure out how to get that number so I can put it in the minutes, and we can all have that number
Yeah.
from
Good
now.
idea.
Because exactly, that would be great, and then tell
We
that to
have
any
it.
residents, so that way they can be like, today, they can be like, yes, that's,
Right.
the wind changed. Because I think it's not always,
No, it's actually, I don't know, as far as getting as far as 252nd Street, I'm not getting it. I'm not on the river.
but I feel like that's generally the
But
flow
not
of
much.
air is
Sometimes.
the other way.
Sometimes it's
It's
to fix
east.
the wind, they
It has a lot
explained
to
it
do with the atmosphere.
during the
Yeah, not
changes,
less to do with the.
when they're doing their cleaning, when they're doing their changes,
I see.
certain gases escape. But in addition to the number 24/7, they're going to be required to hire people to take care of this. To
Mitigate it?
to mitigate, they're gonna have to hire staff to receive these complaints, record these complaints, and document these complaints.
And hang off the roofs of Skyview building with air fresheners.
We got a lot of complaints years ago. They came to our meetings from Skyview. I mean, it wasn't all people, depending on which building you were in and which way you face.
I see.
So
Some people
that,
said they don't smell.
so that's a big
They're much
change.
closer.
That's a
Right,
big
well, I
change.
think they said they had made some improvements, but I think this next thing is supposed to be even better.
That's right.
Cool.
I found
great.
the number. I found the number.
Oh, hooray, what is it?
It's 914-231-2786. And there's actually a form that people could find online. I don't have the right link for the form, but I could show you this. Can
I'll look it up. We'll search for it too. Then I'll
Can
put
I
it in here
share?
as-
Oh, I can't share. Okay.
I mean, you can.
No, it says no.
You always can.
No, well, now
You
you're
have to
told.
do, you have to do
It
something.
it prompted me. I did.
He did.
Oh,
Now,
you did. Okay.
You should feel like a tingling.
Here, look, it's, I copied the
Being
odor
recorded,
complaint
Steve.
form. So
oh,
there's
okay.
this,
Oh,
and you
oh,
can fill
good.
it out, somebody could fill it out and then send it in. And also, it's the Westchester County office, so if the board can't get to them, or the elected officials may want it also, they can call the government, Westchester County, you see here? I can send you this form too.
Perfect.
I'll email that to you.
Yeah.
And Laura.
Oh, perfect. So that's good. Yeah, I'll put that in the minutes because then, right, anyone who,
And alert,
right, perfect. Thank you, Karen, finding that. Okay, great. So now you have other new business, you said.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, my other new business, I'll send you that afterwards. So the first thing is that at the next meeting, we're going to have the people coming for greening the Harlem River. This is a grant that the New York Harbor Estuary Program and somebody else gave to us in our neighborhood to look at, in particular, Fort Independence Park, but also I'm going to suggest they add some things in Marshall Parkway that's not in Community Board 8, but the object of looking at those two parks is to develop a toolbox on how to deal with erosion and flooding in certain areas. And so the problem in Fort Independence Park is it's steep hill, and the hill is so steep that the trail, which had stone dust on it, all went into the sewer line straight down the hill. So they are coming up with some suggested ideas. This is like not even close to even like getting to a capital project, but some of the things that they will come up with will be capital projects, and some of them will be things that you could do right away. But in Marshall Parkway is a lot of forest, and there's also a lot of not only erosion, but there's constantly wet areas on the running path where the bikes go and stuff. And so they're going to do some underground work and find out if it's underground or if it's something else. Like we keep saying that we think it's DP and if a pipe is broke, but it could be that it's just, clay. We don't know. And so I think I've been on this task force since the beginning. I didn't see their toolbox, but I know some of the things that they're thinking about. So they want to come to the community boards before the end of their contract, because part of it is federal money and they have to be done by a certain time. That doesn't mean that they won't continue to help, but they want to get your position. So I spoke to Deb. They can't make her meeting because it's really at the end of April, and that's the end of their contract. And so they have to get all the work done beforehand. So Deb is going to come to our meeting also, because she's, Fort Independence Park is one of the biggest parks there. And she maintains these areas. And even the areas that had rain gardens, those are also flooding because of the steepness of the slopes and the runoff that's coming in. So it's a very interesting project. They had a bid out the contract to hire the company. It's a company called Biohabitat, and they're really very, very nice people. You'll see.
Yeah, so they're gonna come to our next April meeting, yeah, because I saw your
And
email.
Parks Department, people from Parks Department will come, and people from, the community, and the person from the Parks Department, you'll all be interested to know, is a hydrologist. Isn't that cool? So we could get
they're
it.
coming because we're a week earlier than they're
Yes.
coming to ENS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
we're a
it's
week earlier. They're not ready yet, so they couldn't come in March, which is what I wanted. So they couldn't come to this meeting because they're not ready
Okay.
yet. They can't go to the end because that's the end. After that, it's done. And they want the
Okay.
community board's position, So it would be nice to get them on early. That's
Okay,
my
so
I'll do
first,
the system, yes,
So
that's
the
my
April-
first new business.
that, and then we talk about budget after that.
Right.
Okay,
That'll
my
be-
second new business is sometime in April, the DEP is looking to hold a meeting on daylighting. They actually finished their bid and hired somebody. Well, they know who they're gonna hire. They didn't hire somebody. They know who they're gonna hire, and they want to make that announcement. But April is such a bad month You know, there's all these dates and everything, and plus there's a million dates in the beginning that nobody could do anything because they're holidays for everybody. And so we're discussing with them that they come to the BCQ annual meeting, which is at the end of the month, April 29th, at Manhattan University. And we'll have a lovely dinner. And it will be, I don't know what the time is. I have to find out if I can squeeze them in. But we thought that that was an important enough project for them to do. And I think at Manhattan College, I could also have the Zoom so that people could, who wanted to come to the tag meeting could go to the tag meeting and hear what the presentation is and see it. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. And if it doesn't happen then, it probably won't happen in April because they probably can't find a date, and it might happen just early May sometime.
But they haven't announced a date or
No,
anything.
no,
Okay.
no. I just asked them if they wanted to be at our meeting. We're going to have a lot of people that are talking about water and lowering the temperature. I have some hydrologists coming. It should be a very, very interesting meeting. And I met a lady who works for a engineering company doing vulnerability studies, and she was studied in the Sorbonne and grew up in Paris, and they had a big problem because they had a lot of heat deaths, tremendous number of heat deaths in 2003. Thousands of people died from the heat, and so Paris decided to make themselves the green city, and they, you know, planted all these trees, and they actually looked forward to taking care of, you know, lowering the temperature with nature. It should be
Which
interesting. It should
We
be
should all
interesting.
do.
Yeah.
And they cleaned up the Seine.
And they cleaned up the Seine. You're right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they could do it in
Thank you,
Paris,
Karen.
you know, what, you know,
You're in Paris.
Well, a lot of that was going up river.
right.
And there's still combined sewer overflows
Yeah.
sometimes
Where?
into the Seine.
Really?
Yeah, that's why when they were doing like the Olympics.
The Olympics.
They
The
had to-
Olympics,
They had
right,
to cancel some of the
People
swims
got
because
sick.
it had rained the night before.
Right.
And they had to wait for
Right.
long.
They
Right.
combined sewer
Safe
overflow
again.
problem.
Because they still
Yeah.
do have some combined sewer overflow because it's an old city, just like here. We hope to
Yeah.
have less of it, but we still have it.
Right. So, you know, that's what the Tibbetts daylighting
Athletes
project
free
is.
Charmin to let themselves up, you know?
Letting more room in the sewer. So that's my two new business items.
Thank you. Yes. So yeah, but we're gonna meet before that meeting anyway, and then we'll
Right.
talk about it. So both of these, we will talk about at the next meeting. Really.
I'll see if I could get you the presentation ahead of time so you could look at it, the one that they'll make on the 18th. You
Okay,
know,
perfect. Thank you.
I mean, usually nobody's ready in time, but I'll see what I could do.
But either way, I mean, as long as we get it afterwards to show everybody.
I know, but it would be better if you, like, we really want to know what you think, you know?
Oh, so then do, and we'll send it. I'll have Farrah send to everybody.
Yeah, I just think
So we can
it's a
all
better
look at
way
that.
I always feel like it's better if I have it ahead of time. And maybe
And then
nobody
we can
looks
come
at
up
it,
with
but
questions.
at least, you know, you get the opportunity. Okay.
Perfect. Any other new business or comments or anything anybody wants to say?
Move to adjourn.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Perfect.
Whatever I need to stop it.
Adjourned.
Okay.
Oh,